It was in 2018 February that something happened. I was holding a tithing service and I was in front of the people in order to bless them. I was about to lay my hand on 15 people that stood up for tithing. Suddenly I saw God's angels landing in the church. They formed two lines, on my left and on my right. I observed them for some time, then I began to lay hand on the people who came forward for tithing. However, when I laid my hand on the first person who came to give his tithe, and when that man went back to his seat, I saw one of the angel seraphim detaching from the line and following the man to his seat, and he stood by his side. When I laid my hand on the second person, the moment he turned around to go back to his seat, a second angel followed him to his seat and he stood by his side. Every time I laid my hand on a person he was accompanied and followed by the angel of the Lord. Considering that I prayed for 15 people who came to give tithes, the 15 angels accompanied them and remained with them by their side in the church. Then other remaining angels went away. If only everybody was faithful on that day, all the angels would have remained and stayed in their lives. When I finished the service, I explained to the church what I saw, but I could not understand the meaning of this. The following day I was supposed to go back to the church in order to pray and inquire about all this. It was a few days later that the angels came in order to provide me an explanation of the mystery of the tithes. It was 5 a.m. when everybody was sleeping. I went to the living room in order to pray. I was praying when suddenly I began to feel the way I felt when God transported me in the spirit. I felt a powerful anointing. I said to myself that this must be an encounter. In the twinkling of an eye, I found myself in the church. At that moment I saw the angels that showed up previously in the church. When they appeared, they made a line precisely the same way they did the last time when I was praying for the people who were giving their tithes. Suddenly I saw one of these angels deploying his wings. After deploying his wings, he lifted his feet and he took a position of flight as if he wanted to fly away in space. I noticed that this seraph looked like one of the 4 living creatures that stand before the throne of the Lord that has the appearance of an eagle that I saw previously. This angel seems like he wanted to fly away, yet he was not taking his flight. He said to me, "We are here for the appointment." I said to the angel, "The appointment is scheduled for 8 a.m. How come you came at this time?" The angel replied, "We do not operate in the factor called time, we operate beyond time. Humans operate in time, but we operate on appointments. Considering that this is an appointment, this day is marked for dispensation. When the day of the appointment comes, although it is early, we are already here to honor the appointment. It is because you are waiting for the time that we were waiting for you." When this angel finished saying these words, in the twinkling of an eye I found myself back in the living room of my house. I was in wonder. Later, when it was almost 8 in the morning, I went to church because the appointment with the angel was 8. The angelic appearance in the morning at 5 was an indication that the angel was already on the earth for this appointment. Later on, I was joined by the evangelist who was supposed to be the witness and participant of this encounter. As usual, when the angels of the Lord landed at 8 a.m., they said to the evangelist, "We are impatient, we have been looking forward to this appointment, because God's children have given the tithes and are giving the tithes, but the Lord never revealed to humanity the mystery behind the tithe, so we are keen to reveal this mystery to humanity now." The angel that was talking to us was the angel that took the position of flight. My assumption is that he was in that position because our understanding was to rise in terms of giving. The seraphim said to us, "Generation after generation has passed. God's people have not known the impact and truth about the tithes. By the instruction of the one who lives forever, I am here to explain to humanity the mystery of the tithe. The workers of the devil have fought against these preceding, yet this is invested by God for angels that are his creation that ordained to reside in your house." The angel said, "Your father Abraham has 2 affiliations with you, a spiritual affiliation and a physical affiliation. God in heaven has linked you to your father Abraham in the spiritual level, but you needed a material affiliation to your father Abraham. We have come to reveal the principle that will link you physically to Abraham's blessing. You are heirs with Abraham and you have the faith of Abraham, but you need to connect to Abraham's material blessings. Although, in the spirit level, you are heirs with him, so then they which be of faith are blessed with faithful Abraham. Gal 3-9. And if ye be Christ's, then are ye Abraham's seed, and heirs according to the promise. Gal 3:29. The angel said to me, Be careful, a house become a habitation of angels. Have you not read the Lord's Prayer when he said, Let your will be done on earth like it is in heaven? You have not grasped the meaning of the Lord's Prayer. You have been in heaven and you know nothing about it. The Lord's Prayer means that the engineer of heaven must come down to earth in order to configure your house in the image of heaven so that it will become a habitation of angels. We are the engineers, we are the ones who come down in your house in order to configure it in the image of heaven in order to bring you things that exceed your understanding and imagination. Your house must be configured so that it would become a habitation of angels. The angel said, Moreover, when the Lord ate in the house of Zacchaeus, Jesus said to him, Today salvation has come to this house, because this man, too, is a son of Abraham. Luke 19-9. He said these words after having eaten a material food from his house, which has created a link with Abraham's material blessings. The angel said, When the Almighty ate material food in the house of Abraham, he had to bless Abraham materially. That is why when he finished eating, he asked, Where is Sarah? Gen 18-9. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. Be careful with your pastors, when they eat in your place, when they drink in your place, when they get material things from you. This brings about material blessings so that deep may call upon deep. Ps 42-7, flow may call flow. The promise of Isaac was a result of the fact that God ate material food in Abraham's house. Abraham had to receive material blessings from God, but because of incompatibility many of you are not blessed. You gonna sow material in order to receive material. These were the words of the seraphim. He continued his discourse and said, Now this is the prerequisite for your home to be configured in the image of heaven so that it would become a residence of angels. Firstly, you have to understand that we seraphim were created with the intention of praise, so when we come to your house through the tithe, in order to make it our residence, we impart to you the anointing of praise. We impart to you the anointing of praise so that you can become commendable and honorable being. In fact, when he come to your house through tithe, in order to make it our residence, we look around in order to identify and locate things in various aspects of your life that render you shameful and dishonored. We identify aspects of your life where there is a shame and where there is humiliation. The case of Sarah's sterility was a humiliation and shame in Abraham's house. That is why after eating at Abraham's house, the Almighty asked for Sarah. The angel said the house that pays tithes deserves to be honored. All the descendants of Abraham are supposed to be blessed because Abraham has paid tithes for them in advance. That is why the Lord said, This daughter of Abraham deserves to be free. The seraphim said, You have to understand that one tithe is equal to one angel in your life. Lack of tithes means lack of angels in your house. The angel said, We come to the house and the lives of people who pay tithes. Every time a man pays a tithe, one of us come in his life and will be in his life until his death. If you pay tithe monthly, you will be getting one angel every month. It is this way that your house will become the residence of angels. Sometimes a believer encounters an accident and danger and people wonder, but this is a result of lack of angels because one tithe is equal to one angel. Those who refuse to pay tithes will lack angels and defenders, as it is written, Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, and I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes. Mal 3:10-11. The seraphim said, The moment you pay tithe, you are assigned an angel who fights the devourer for your sake. Your enemy, who is our enemy, is fighting the tithe because he wants your house to be oppressed by demons. He wants the absence of angels in your house. The angel of the Lord said to my evangelist, who was a witness, O witness, pray so that the instrument will be transported to different houses. Pray that the instrument may see how houses that fail to pay the tithes become oppressed by demons. At that moment, the evangelist prayed. When the evangelist had finished praying, one of the seraphim said to the evangelist, Look, we are already in the first house and the instrument is witnessing its reality. Actually, when the evangelist was praying, I felt a powerful anointing and I became light, and then I found myself flying with a seraph. Later we landed in a house in the city. I realized it was my own house. The wings of this seraphim were deployed but his feet were not touching the ground. However, my feet touched the ground of my living room. Immediately I noticed that in the four corners of my house, there were red ribbon-shaped fabrics. I noticed that these red ribbon-shaped fabrics were extended beyond the house to the infinite. I could not see where they were heading. My house had these red ribbon fabrics all over the place that went beyond the house to unknown destinations. While I was in wonder, the angel of the Lord said to me, "You are stunned by these reddish ribbon-shaped fabrics and you are wondering where they are going. Understand that each ribbon-shaped fabric is a bondage, a tie. Although you are a pastor, you had ties and bondages in many aspects of your life, but every time you give a tithe, you are given an angel whose task is to break one of these ties and bondage. Deliverance means actions of many angels that you receive through the tithe that you are giving. You have noticed these ribbon-shaped fabrics are red. It's because these are blood ties and bondages. One of these red ribbon-shaped fabrics is a behavior tie, another is a tribal tie. You are wondering where these ribbon-shaped fabrics are heading? Don't worry, I will show you." The angel of the Lord said, "What makes your houses oppressed by demons are your origin, your ancestors and your past. The objective of the devil is that your ancestors may follow you." The angel of the Lord told me, "In the past, your ancestors have signed pacts and covenants with the god of the forest. Therefore one of this ribbon-shaped fabric you see here is a bondage, a tie that is heading to the forest. There is the archive that the enemy is using in order to bind you. He is using it so that the progeny may pay the price. These are contracts. Your ancestors wanted power so they went to invoke the god of thunder. As a result, their progeny and descendants to which you belong have been held captive by the god of thunder. Your ancestors were doing rituals and ceremonies that were attracting demons, and these demons must emerge in the physical world through the birth of their descendants. Every time a child is born in your family, the demon that was summoned by the ancestors in the past will incarnate the body of the child that is born in the world. The demon came again through the birth of the child. These are demons of the past who are coming to the present, thanks to your ancestors' contracts. Every time you celebrate a birthday of one of the children in the family, you are commemorating a demon that has incarnated in that child, and when the whole members of the family are possessed by the demons of your tribe, some of the demons of your clan and tribe will lack a body to dwell in. As a result, they will dwell in the wall of your houses that will become oppressed by a demon. However, when you pay a tithe, one of us seraphim will come to dwell in your place and he will cut the ancestral and demonic ties in your home. It could be a tie of behavior that goes back to your ancestors. Some of your deliverance require virtues, not prayer. The angel said, "It is written, make effort to add to your faith virtue." 2 Peter 1-5. Virtue is beyond faith. Deliverance is also caused by virtue. While I was out of my body conversing with the angels that were left with the evangelist said to him, "The devil makes sure that your family and your house are assemblies of oppression, so that the husband would come with the ties of his family, the wife would come with the ties of her family and the children would be recipients of ties from both families. But thanks to your tithes, we come to remove these ribbon-shaped fabrics that are the ties of your family, clan, and tribe. Every time you give a tithe, you will get an angel who will remove one of these ties." However, many of the anniversary celebrations commemorate the spirits of your ancestors that are born and incarnated in the children of your family. The angel said, "Your terrestrial religion has ill-defined deliverance. Understand that Abraham has paid tithes and the woman that was bound was liberated by the Lord because of that tithe. Every time you give tithes, you are creating a virtue. Satan has bound this woman, a daughter of Abraham, for 18 years. Shouldn't she be untied from this bondage on the Sabbath day?" Luke 13:16. According to this angel, the tithe that we give create a virtue that is a force that delivers us and pays our debt that was caused by the ancestral covenant. The tithe that you pay will buy out the debt that you have with the devil due to the contract and covenant of your ancestors. The ancient gods have given your ancestors knowledge, divination and revelation. In return, these gods have acquired the right to live in the bodies of their progeny, but your tithes will buy you out from those covenants. Immediately I asked the angel of the Lord, "What are the gods that are battling my house and family?" The seraphim said to me, "Come." Suddenly we took a speedy flight to my native province of my ancestors. When we landed, I noticed that there were waters everywhere. The angel said, "Your ancestors in your province have entered in a covenant with the water gods in order to have beauty." Immediately I realized why the people of my tribe were beautiful.